Hi, I'm Simon, and as you might know, I'm an artist. And while creating art, the hardest lesson for me to learn is the answer to the question, what makes things look good? Or why does something does not look good? For example, here we have a shaded sphere, and it's easy to notice that the shadow is missing. And after adding the shadow, and looking at the spheres side by side, we can see that the scene has improved a lot and the sphere looks more grounded now. And now we have light and shadow in the scene, and this means there's nothing to improve, isn't it? Not quite. The problem is that further improvements are more subtle, but still add a lot to the quality of the final result. If you, for example, learned about indirect lighting and soft shadows, you are able to add these things to the scene and you will see that they result in a big difference, even if the effects itself are less remarkable than going from totally no shadow to a sphere with shadow. And often these small changes are hard to spot, but easy to miss. So as an artist, you have to learn a lot to know what is to do and makes your art look great. One way of getting things right is to use references, and if you want, you can check out a video plus an article I did about this topic. But today I want to talk about a situation where I didn't got it right even with references. Several years ago, when I was working on Sacred 2, I came along some spiderwebs, and just by counting the facts, they look like a perfect spiderweb, don't they? It has the structure of a spiderweb, the strings are nicely painted and even are affected by gravity, and the color looks fine too. And even if you search Google for spiderweb, the first search results are very similar to what we have in the game. So I wasn't perfectly satisfied because I think the spiderweb could be improved, but since the references didn't help me out a lot, I had no idea what exactly should be done to improve the visual quality. So I forgot about this issue until I played Diablo 3 and the Batman games and saw how they did the spiderwebs. This was really eye-opening. Sometimes it's good to step back and see the whole picture. And this holds true here because I looked at the spiderwebs only from nearby. And if you look at them from greater distance, they look very different, almost like rails. Now the problem zones of the Sacred 2 spiderwebs are clearer to me. The scaling doesn't fit. It looks like a standard spiderweb scaled up a lot. Even if a huge spider would have made it, I think it could be expected to look a bit more detailed to fit the size. Next issue is the softness. While Diablo and Batman use soft transparencies for their spiderweb, in Sacred we used a hard alpha and therefore they look pretty rough. And last but not least, there is some movement missing which adds the final touch like we can see in the Batman game. Okay, now we know what we want to achieve, which is a very important goal. But especially for us game developers, it's difficult because even if we know what we need, the technology must be capable of simulating or at least faking our wishes. Even if you know, for example, that indirect lighting would make your game look better, if the engine can't calculate it, you can only try to fake it somehow. So I can't remember why, but for some reason we used a hard alpha channel for the spiderwebs in Sacred, which didn't allow smooth transparencies. Maybe this was for performance reasons. But to be honest, back in the days I wasn't able to suggest any improvements. I just didn't have the eye for seeing what's missing, for knowing what technology would be necessary, in this case a shader allowing soft alpha 8 transparencies. And I didn't make a step back to see that there's something wrong with the scale. The Diablo spiderwebs were eye-opening to me, and the Batman games even spiced them up more by adding some nice wavy movement. Yeah, that's all. I hope you don't mind that this wasn't a real trick like the others, but maybe it will help you if you have to do some spiderwebs in the future. Feel free to give me any feedback in the comment section or via mail or Facebook or Twitter. Have a nice day and see you soon.